Hello, How To Bob here, and in this series I'm going to show you how we're going to go from a half bath to a full bath. Take a look at our project here. You can see there's a hallway going down with a closet to the right, and we poked a couple holes in here just to see what's behind this little space here, and it looks like there's nothing but one vent, and I'll show you that vent here once we get into the bathroom. But here's our half bath. I'm going to take the toilet and move it over to about right here. And then we're going to take the vanity and put it right where this wall is and that void. You can see the vent that I was talking about a little bit ago right here. So we're going to move that down a little bit lower once we take out this empty section of wall. And we're going to get rid of the closet altogether. And we'll take that door and move it out another couple to 2 to 3 feet. And then this wall here will be removed, going into the kitchen, and we'll turn the cabinet sideways and we'll have a little peninsula. Right where the soffit is, we're going to cut the wall, and that's where the bathroom door is going to be. There will be no more hallway. The closet will be gone. It'll just open up the whole floor plan in this house. So let's move out into the living room, and this is behind the closet, so that wall is going to be removed. We'll have to move the thermostat and the switch. And then we're also going to remove this pantry, this wall right here, and make the whole area open. So this is where our shower is going to land, right in this area here. We've got a 32 by 6 foot shower, and the toilet will move over to here. So everything will fit once we get the walls removed. Okay, so I'm going to start out by stripping down the bathroom. I'll remove the mirror. I'll remove the paper holders and the towel bars, all the rings, everything that's on the walls. Get that out of our way. These have a little flathead screw on the bottom. Kind of tough to get to and kind of hard to see. Got a real small flathead screwdriver on the end of this multi-tool that works quite well for this kind of screw. And then it just slides right up and it pops right off. So I'll just pop the other one off. And then there's the brackets underneath. And they're a Phillips screw. Just remove those. And then I can move over to my towel ring and it gets removed the same way. This one, however, has an Allen screw holding it in, an Allen screw at the bottom. So I had to go get another tool and I removed that, and it's got the same bracket holding that in. I've got the mirror off the wall. So we can finally get started working on some plumbing. Now this is a repurposed dresser that someone has cut the drawers out of the top and made some room for the plumbing. Did a pretty good job of it. It's a little short, so they had to raise it up. I'm going to turn the shutoffs off just to see if they're in working order, so I know if I have to replace those or not. So I've got the hot one turned off, and I'll turn the cold one off. I turn the water on, and if I turn this off and it's good, the water should stop running, and we're good. So we don't have to replace these shutoffs. That's a good thing. Now let's check the toilet and see if that shutoff is good, or do I have to replace this one. So I turn that all the way off, and then I'm going to flush the toilet. And I'll hold down the handle and wait until it empties, and it's not running, so it looks like my shutoff for the toilet's still good. So I can start to work on the toilet, take the lid off, take the extra toilet paper holder off, and I'm going to pop the bolt covers off here on the bottom of the toilet. And then I'm going to use my adjustable wrench to loosen up the nuts. And once I get the bolts out, I'm going to remove the supply line, and I like to have a little bucket handy because more times than not, once this supply line is removed, the water that's in the tube will run down onto the floor. So I just happen to have a small bucket. I'll put that right under here just in case any water comes out of the tube. And wouldn't you know it, not a drop. Nothing. Okay, well, at least I had a bucket ready. So now there's a lot of water in the bowl, so I'm going to get my larger bucket and set that right in the center of the room. And then I will pull up the toilet and I'll set it directly in the center of the flush hole or the drain hole, right in the bucket. And then I'll go around and I'll grab it at the bottom of the top and the top of the tank and tilt it back and let all the water in the bowl run into the bucket that I have there. That way I can move it around the place without spilling water all over the floor. Just makes it easier to handle. Now I can remove my wax ring. This is a little foam wax ring here. It's not really a wax ring. It's, I guess, what they'd call a waxless wax ring. I know there's several different types of wax rings. And it looks like someone put an extra flange in there. So I'll remove that. And I made this little cover here. It's basically the lid from a drywall mud bucket with a spacer on top and a little foam spacer on the bottom just to seal off so no sewer gases come up and I don't drop anything that I don't want to drop down into the drain. So I'm going to remove the drain from the vanity, and then I'm going to take the supply lines off, of course, once I make sure that they are turned off, because I still have water on in the house. And again, I have my bucket ready. Turn the faucet on and that will let all the water out of the supply lines. And I'll loosen the other one up, and same thing here. There's going to be some water in the lines, and with the faucet on, that water will run down into my bucket. So now I've got my two supply lines disconnected, my drain. I need to take the whole drain apart because you can see that the holes for this vanity are really tight. In fact, I'm going to have to remove the shutoff. So I'm going to go down to the basement and turn the water off at the main just so I can remove the shutoffs. Then I'm going to turn the water on, make sure I relieve all the pressure with the bucket underneath. Then I can remove my shutoff valves. And luckily for me, these are compression shutoff valves. Somebody put these on at some point when they did this vanity. And that makes it easier for me because I can just take this off, set it on the side, take the vanity out, and then I can reinstall both of these shutoffs since I know that they already work. And it looks like somebody used some thread tape where they shouldn't have here, but now I'm going to remove the screws that hold the vanity in place. Looks like there's 3 of them. There's one here, one down below right here, and then one up on the top over on the left. So now I can remove my vanity, and you can see that there's a cutout in the wall for all the plumbing, and I'm going to go ahead and put my shutoffs back in so that I can restore water to the house. So I just slide my shutoff back on to the compression ring, tighten down the nut, and then make sure the shutoffs are turned off before turning on the water. Then I can go back down and restore water to the house. All right, so we're going to go back up to the bathroom and start to remove the baseboards. So I got my little pry bar here. You can use a 7-in-1 screwdriver, a spatula, putty knife, whatever you have. Anything to get behind the baseboards just to pry it out and get those off there. These are not on there real good. Looks like somebody used some brad nails for this. Not any finishing nails or anything like that. So luckily for me, it comes off quite easily. Now I'm going to lay out the bathroom here. My shower unit is 32 inches, so I'm going to mark this at 32 inches. And then if I look where the current location of the toilet is, it's right at about 14 inches. So I'm going to measure 14 inches over from where the shower is and make a mark there. So that's going to be the location of my toilet. And then it's going to be 12 inches from the back wall. So this is going to be the location of my toilet right here. Then I can remove the tiles. I've got a line drawn where I need to stop. So I'm trying to get these tiles off because where I'm going to be tearing down walls in the hallway, I could sure use a couple of these tiles. I'm going to have to go out and try to find some of these tiles. A lot of times when you tear up a tile, you'll find a sticker on the bottom of the tile that's embedded in the mortar, and sometimes you can read the UPC sticker and know what kind of tile you're looking for. But the chances of finding something like this pretty good. It looks like a standard basic porcelain tile. These are sold quite frequently in the big box stores and tile shops around, so I should find something that matches pretty good. It may not be a perfect match, but it will match pretty good. I know I'm not going to have enough tile, and these don't seem to be coming up very easily. Whoever put this down did a good job putting it down because they sure are not coming up. You can see I'm actually getting into the wonder board in certain spots here, but it's okay. I'm going to remove that coming up here shortly. So I need to lay out how far exactly my shower base is going to come out from the stud wall. So I need to get behind the drywall. So I'm going to use my oscillating tool and cut the first few inches of drywall out just so I can slide my shower unit in. I know it's 32 inches, but there's a little taper on the bottom of the shower, and I want to make sure that I have my shower base land exactly where I want, because I'm going to cut the tiles and try to save all the rest of the tiles. So I'll cut the tiles right on the floor. I won't try to tear up all the tiles. I'll show you that here in just a moment. Let me get all this drywall cut out, and then I'll put the shower base in and draw a line exactly where my shower base is going to end. I only need to tear out just the bottom part here. I'll tear out the rest later once I get everything else taken care of. On this part, I want to be real careful with the oscillating tool. You see this pipe back here? That's a vent. I want to make sure that I don't hit any vents like that or pipes or anything like that. So if you're using an oscillating tool when you're cutting your drywall, you want to make sure that you're not plunging it in too deep, because you always risk the chance of hitting whatever's behind the wall. So I generally try to keep it within a ½ an inch depth. And you can see there's a vent over here. So I've got my other line. The second line is exactly where my shower pan or my shower base is going to land. And I'm going to take my diamond wheel and my grinder, and I'm going to cut through the tile and also cut through the wonder board. And that'll give me a nice smooth edge once I pull up the wonder board. Okay, I'm going to step out while the dust settles, and I'll go ahead and remove the shelves that are in the closet and start working on some of the stuff out here. Once I get all the shelves removed, I might as well start removing some of the drywall that's on this void here. Let's take a look inside, pull some of this drywall off, and I can show you that there was just a dead space here, wasted space. The bathroom actually could have been built this way. You can see all the space, and there's the vent on there. So I'm going to reuse this door, and I might as well reuse the case molding. So I'll go around the whole thing, cut the paint and caulking, and then right where the nail is, I'll put my pry bar. That'll keep it from splintering or cracking the molding, and then I'll just slide my pry bar down and work my casing out wherever I see a nail, and I'll pry it out and follow it all the way around the door. And I might be able to reuse this casing on my new wall. So here's the wall to the right as you go into the bathroom. This is the other wall that's covering up the void, the wasted space, let's call it. just remove the drywall from here. You can see there's a stud in the way here. And I just pick the drywall apart. Be nice if it came out in one big sheet, but sometimes it just doesn't. So you can see the big void in between there. Now the dust is settled, I'm going to go back in and remove my wonderboard. I like to remove the wonderboard. I want to get all the way down to the subfloor. And the reason I do that is twofold. Some of the shower bases need to be bedded in a mortar bed. And I also like to have my tiled floor up a little higher than the base. That way the curb is not so tall to step into the shower. You're actually stepping down into the shower just a little bit, because you'll have the thickness of the tile and the thickness of the wonderboard under the tile. So I like to get it nice and clean. Pull out all the nails here, and then I'll set my shower in and we'll take a look and see how it's going to look once I get all these nails out here. Got it all cleaned up. And I'll slide the shower base in, and you can see it fits right up against the studs and right up against the tile that I just cut. So now I'm going to remove the wall that was just to the right of the vanity. And this will reveal the whole void, all the space we're going to gain. And there's a nice big piece that came off for me here. Get that out of the way. And you can see the vent. I'm going to lower that and relocate it. Doesn't need to be up that high. So I'm going to take a look in the basement now. This is the toilet line here. It's going to need to be moved from here over to about right here. And then my drain for my vanity is going to have to be somewhere in that direction. So stay tuned for the next episode of Half Bath to Full Bath. I'm How To Bob. Thanks for watching.